Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly edition of Timeout Talks with Ben and Josh, streaming on, of course, the one and only and the best Kirk Minahan Show Network. We are also live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Timeout Talks is brought to you by Chase and Phil's custom t-shirts and accessories, the Ice Shaker, Make It Mac, and of course, we are sponsored and we are streaming live on the Kirk Minahan Show Network. Josh alongside Ben. Tough weekend for my Cowboys. We'll get to them a little later, but we got to start off with the Steelers. They're 3-0. I said they were going to go under 500. I bet you the chat's probably already flying. Ben, you got to be feeling like $1 million right now.
Yeah, as Cheese said, 3-0 Benny. As you said, $1 million feeling Josh. I'm feeling great. Still a little self-controlled on this one, Josh. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. These aren't the prettiest wins, but hey, in the NFL, you got to take a win any way you can. Yeah, that was another good point from G right there. Good to see Josh still hanging around. We'll get to Josh and his Cowboys in a little bit, but yeah, live on Facebook. Facebook is where it's at, Freddie, but we're going to get this little beginning to me. Josh said the Steelers could get the beginning of the show, so appreciate Josh for that, but it's a great feeling right now. I mean, just the Bengals, too. That was just a cherry on top right there. The Bengals 0-3. Shout out to Jaden Daniels. That's my quarterback. That's my guy. That guy's absolutely electric. Patriots stink again. I love that. I love this. I love seeing that, but ultimately, Josh, this just couldn't have gone any better. I told everyone before the season this is where the Steelers need to capitalize on this easy schedule in the beginning, because at the end, it is going to get daunting. Chiefs, Eagles back-to-back Christmas Day, then Eagles right after it. That's just sandwiched in between all the division games. So this is going to become a tougher season right now, but this is good to get these wins out the way. Justin Fields he's getting there. He's getting there. This last game was just probably the best passing game. A nice little touchdown to Calvin Austin. Finally making some nice throws on third down too, staying calm and composed in the center right there. So I give him a little credit, because that was his big problem in Chicago. Josh, that was his big problem. He just wasn't composed. He was making too many turnovers, ruining the game like that. And now he's keeping us in there. This is all we're asking from him. All we're asking from him is just make a couple plays when he needs to. Let the defense do its thing, and let the skill players like George Pickens, Najee, and Jalen Warren do their thing. So I'm not saying Super Bowl, Josh. I'm not going Super Bowl yet, but the Steelers team is legit. I know everyone's already making fun of me saying the worst 3-0 team.
I think we lost Ben there for a second. Ben, you good?
Nope, now I'm good.
He's good. He's here. The mic, they're a little bit choppy there. But yeah, hey, people are saying
it was a big monologue.
People are saying that the Steelers, it's tough. I don't think that they are the worst 3-0 team of all time, but it does give me 2020 vibes, Ben. I don't know, like relying on the defense. As Ben mentioned, they got, what's his name? Calvin Austin. There's also a Tyler Austin, who's your defensive coordinator. Am I correct? Am I wrong on that? Terrell Austin. So I don't know. I think your defense has been great. And as Ben mentioned, they're going to hit a point of games where, the schedule gets better. But the NFL this year is just so weird. The quarterback play has been kind of lackluster. And as much as I want to sit here and as the Cowboys fan, 1-2 right now, and say, oh, the Steelers, yeah, they're beating up. Like, Justin Herbert gets hurt and stuff. They're still 3-0. You're still 3-0. You're making easy business with wins. You've got, like I said, TJ Watt's dominating. You're taking quarterbacks out of the game. This game was pretty much over going into the fourth quarter. As me and you both predicted, it was going to be a low-scoring affair. It was. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't know. I honestly don't know with the NFL. The Vikings are 3-0. We'll talk about that a little bit after, but Ben can do his victory laps. He was right on the Commanders. They're 2-1. Your division, I know it got a little choppy there, so I don't want to repeat what have already said, but your division is kind of all over the place. The Browns are the Browns. They're just not. I'm throwing them out. They'll be 7-10, 8-9 at best, finding a spot. You look at the Ravens; they were almost 0-3. They beat us 1-2. I do agree with James. I agree with James in the fact that they probably are the best team in that division. No disrespect to Ben, but Bengals still I'm not done giving up on. But I will say one thing too: Joe Burrow against the AFC North, his record isn't pretty good. So plenty of football left to play out. But if you're Ben, you're Marianne, you're a Steelers fan right now, the world is great. You are happy and nothing can go wrong right now. I mean, and hey, you do make a trade. I think the offense needs something else, but Cody was telling me too. You guys got Arthur Smith now. You've got like an actual competent offensive coordinator. You know, we know his days in Atlanta as coach didn't go too well, but with the Titans, he was pretty good. So a lot of moving parts there for the Steelers and for the NFL in general. But this is the point too here. Like Fields is a solid quarterback. Imagine if you had one player to throw to. So
Come on, Patriots stick. What about thank you, Jameson, on that one. See, that's true. That last game stretch is a little.
lost Ben there, but yeah, the Steelers are playing well as a team, and it's tough because they have 2020 vibes to them. You know, I look at them. Obviously, Justin Fields isn't in the situation that Big Ben was. Ben Roethlisberger at the end. Big Ben had won his ring and stuff. But just looking at the landscape of the NFL right now, it's hard for me to tell. You're looking at the 49ers. They lost this weekend to the Rams in a weird game where the Rams didn't have Puka Nacua and they didn't have Cooper Kupp. You know, I hate to hammer this point, but you look at the Steelers who lost. Excuse me, they're beating up on some teams who have lost some players, but at the same time, you can't fault them for their schedule. I don't know who's coming out of the AFC besides the Chiefs. They win another game in another brutal pass interference thing, but at the same time, you can make the argument there might have been a couple missed calls there on the Falcons' end, and the ball's in the Falcons' hands. They don't get a chance to win, but AFC's all over the place, Ben. I mean, look at the Chargers. They finally get a good, competent coach there. I know some people make the argument, hey, they were in that game against the Steelers if Justin Herbert doesn't get hurt, but coulda, shoulda, woulda. Steelers look good, and I mean, Jameson, I don't know. I'll save them for that, but Jameson coming at Ben here for a little less energy, but
I know we got a couple. Joke.
We got a couple technical difficulty things going on, but aside from that, Ben, I mean, what are you thinking? I mean, you're 3-0. Cody's telling me you guys are going to be number one seed. Like,
no.
What's the expectation now? You're 3-0. I mean,
it's wild card or bust, Josh. I didn't expect us to be. I thought we lose the Chargers one. I thought we'd be 2-1, but obviously this great start. Give me a wild card berth. You know, like you said, I mean, the Ravens are going to get a little. I think the Ravens' talent is going to finally, supersede us. They're going to come back down to earth. You know, obviously with that Cowboys win, they're on the right trajectory. I think the Bengals are going to pick up a couple wins. You never know. I mean, this Browns team. I like this Jameson. I like this. I like this guy. I want to keep this guy around. Appreciate that. But exactly. Now I got a little distracted on that one. Now just Jameson distracted me. Shout out to Jameson. But no, the Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals, they're going to come back. They're not going to be, in the dumps like this. They always start off the season slow. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is finally getting back. Nice little 2 touchdowns, 118 performance from him last night. He's going to get back. T. Higgins is healthy. He's starting to find his way again. That team is, they're not going to be as bad as they are now. So the AFC North is going to catch up with the Steelers eventually. But I think this is just a great start for a little wild card berth, Josh. I want to see us in wild card, be competitive. Like I said, I mean, hey, Patriots stink said it. Justin Fields is a good quarterback. That's a nice little 1-2 pick. His anytime touchdown. Going against the Colts. The Colts are just, I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm sorry, Jeff, on that one. Jeff is, that is not a good team right now. Anthony Richardson not looking too good. still give him some time, but that pick in that pick in the end zone was very bad. That was very rough to see. I don't know what's going on with him so far in this season. So we're looking at 4-0. We're looking at 4-0 right now, Josh. I'm pretty confident in this Colts. One of the Colts, besides Jonathan Taylor, a little abysmal. So I'm feeling confident, and give me that wild card berth, Josh. Josh, give me a wild card berth, competitive game, and that's about it. I'm tampering it, a little less energy. I'm saving my energy. I'm saving my expectations for it. I don't want to be let down. I don't want to be let down because this offense is limited. Defense can't be putting up all these numbers this whole time. So look at that. There we go. Steelers Colts. Look at this Steelers team. We've got a good team over here, Josh. This is a good team. Colts, they stink. Colts are done. Get rid of the Colts. Sorry, Jeff, but AR's got to figure it out. AR-15's got to figure it out. He's got the talent. Shout out to my Florida. He's a Florida guy, so I always got to back him. But I don't know. It's not looking too good for him over there. So I think for us Steelers fans, Josh, we're excited, but temper those expectations. Calm it down. And no, hey, this season, I don't think we'll be able to compete with the Chiefs or the Bills, obviously. I'm surprised you didn't even mention the Bills, Josh. I don't know why you didn't give the Bills a credit in the AFC. They might be the best team in the AFC, even though they haven't played the best competition. But James Cook, looking great over there. No more digs, for Josh Allen, to just throw the ball to. I think that's really done both of them pretty good service. Josh Allen could throw to whoever's open now. He's doing his own thing. He doesn't have to force the ball to Diggs or feel like he has to throw it to him. And Diggs is in a great situation in Houston. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Pat. So yeah, like I said, I'm in the same stance. We gotta give him a couple weeks. It's week 3, so this is some over exaggerated stuff. Some overreactions, I should say, but I gotta see something from him because, as I already said, that was just like one of the worst picks I've ever seen. I've seen him in quite some time. Almost up there with Trevor Lawrence's last night. Trevor Lawrence just looks awful too, but we'll see. Steelers, I don't want to give we're going to get into it a little later, but looking like 4-0, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough because you got the Colts this weekend, and again, I don't want to get too much into it, but I think this first half of the schedule has just been favorable for you guys. I think, and again, the defense is elite, if not the best defense in the National Football League. The best defense in the National Football League right now at this moment, with the best player in the National Football League at this moment, arguably in TJ Watt. I mean, the quarterback play hasn't been the best. The running backs, Saquon Barkley's kind of caught my attention. Jonathan Taylor, those guys are studs. But, aside from that, there's a drop-off. You can argue Justin Jefferson and those guys. But TJ Watt has game-wrecked and disrupted every single game and has probably been, and this is no slouch, the Steelers team is good. The Steelers team is good. They're coached hard. Mike Tomlin is a good coach who can win you championships and has won you games. He's proven me completely wrong on the beginning of my takes. You're not going to hit all of them. I was completely wrong on that. They're 3-0 right now, looking to go 4-0 against, as you mentioned, and as I believe it was, Jameson here, AR-15 can't even get the ball down the field. I mean, just terrible. I think you mentioned it. One of the worst across the side, of the field throws I've ever seen. It looked like Mac Jones last year, just rolling to the right side of the field, lofting the ball in the air for a pick six. It looked like Dak Prescott in the playoffs. I couldn't agree with you anymore. This is another game that is kind of lined up for a beatdown. Sorry to give away some stuff. And of course, we're just calling it what it is. We're calling it how it is. But at the end of the day, the Steelers are winning the games they have to win. You look at the AFC landscape. Yes, you're right. I forgot about those Buffalo Bills. Sorry, Jared. They're doing what they got to do too. I mean, without Diggs, I was talking to Jared Houston, former Emerson alumni. Shout out Jared doing his thing for the Skyforce G League team, if you guys aren't familiar, but huge Buffalo Bills fan. And I was talking to him about it. Maybe getting rid of Stephon Diggs was the weight off Josh Allen's back. Yes, I know the argument's going to come up with, Josh Allen wasn't anything before he had Diggs, but I think they both needed each other at a desperate time. Now, this is going to sound corny, but it's the truth. They couldn't get a championship, Ben. We're watching the Stephon Diggs meme with the confetti coming down for year after year. They make a move, and it's looking good. You're slowly getting Keon Coleman involved, Dawson Knox. As you mentioned, they've beaten down on Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. It's the AFC, I think. You've got your top dogs. I'm still not sold on your Steelers. I can't throw them as a legit contender. I can't. People want on the show, or you want to call me a hater for Cowboys being bad. And I think the Steelers, I agree with whoever it was, hostage take Curtis there, who, what was it? The comment there, Steelers are going to beat the Cowboys like 72. Oh, no, it was Jameson. They're going to beat them 72-6. Probably not that high, but it's a bad matchup for us. Our offensive line, a defensive line. I'm rambling here. But aside from that, I look at the Bills. I look at the Chiefs as top contenders. But again, it all comes down to the playoffs. And there's only one team right now that stands alone in the AFC that I can look at and say, hey, yeah, this team's going to be in it in the postseason. Even with their record, just they're probably going to go far. And it's the Chiefs, as much as it pains me to say, because I'm so sick of them winning. But aside from that, Ben, it's a crapshoot. Chargers are still kind of lurking at 2-1. They've got some injuries. Miami's all over the place. Jets with Aaron Rodgers are one trade away from making things happen, but he's off of a ruptured Achilles and pretty much a torn leg at the age of 41, 40. So, Steelers I still think are offensive pieces away from being legit. I'm not sold on Justin Fields like you guys. I don't know. A lot of moving parts. NFC on the other side. Vikings look like the best team. Think they're going to come back down to life at some point, but yeah, Ben, a lot there. And I'm going to get to it before. I know I've been doing a lot of talking, but I'm just going to do this to just get this out of the way, Ben. I have to do it. And I'm seeing all these questions. Do you know why the defense hasn't been great? Where's another one? We've got from Jameson here. Cowboys are donezo. Josh is upset because the Cowboys couldn't beat those teams. Teams falling apart. Justin Fields over Dak.
Mikey gave you a nice one. Mikey gave you a nice comment.
I saw, yeah.
Mikey grab bags.
Mikey grab bags.
There you go.
Cowboys need defensive tackle and running back. Easily obtainable positions in trade. In a trade. Hang in there, Josh. Okay, thank you, Mikey. It's... Yeah, I mean, you got this. I want to throw this in there too. The Eagles survived their gauntlet last year, but then fell apart right after it against Seattle, New York, and Arizona. Very good point there from Jameson. I think with Dallas right now, the world's falling apart. They can't do anything. Mike McCarthy looks lost. They can't stop anything defensively. Both sides of the line are just an absolute joke. The rookie Kalen Carson's getting beat up on, Ben. Dak Prescott can't have any time. And I don't take anything in these first three games and say, oh, Dak is the problem. If you do, leave the chat, leave this. You don't know anything about football if that's the case. And I've lately haven't been the biggest Dak supporter. I know getting all that money, the $60 million, there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. I get it. He's a quarterback in the National Football League. That weight's going to come with it. But if you are watching the Cowboys games and you think Dak Prescott is the problem, you don't know anything about football. Just leave the chat. I'm sorry. I completely disagree with you. On the other hand, do I think the Dallas Cowboys, and I talked with James about this, who comes on the show all the time with me in the booth. Everybody is familiar with James. I think I agree with him. They're very top heavy. You have the Micah Parsons, you have the Trayvon Diggs, you have the Daks, you have the CeeDee Lambs. And then aside from that, you've got a lot of overrated players like Mozzie Smith on the draft. We couldn't hit on him. Eric Kendricks is pretty old now. The linebackers can't tackle. They're picking on Kalen Carson. Trayvon Diggs, I love him. He's probably one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player on the Cowboys, to be completely honest with you now at this point. He's coming off a torn ACL, so he's not where he's supposed to be. They can't run the ball, Ben. They paid Terrence Steele, God knows why, so much money because he had one good season. He's in the top echelon of guys being paid on our team. This guy can't even block a cone. I swear to God, me and you, if they added an extra lineman to the National Football League and added two guys who never played collegiate football in their life, I swear to God, I think we could actually do a better job than Terrence Steele. I watch this team, Ben, and it's just the same thing every single year. I said it on Timeout Talks. I'll say it in my group chats. I'll say it to anybody in the world. Their problem starts at the top. It's Jerry Jones. The management's a disaster. Mike McCarthy is a good regular season coach. Dak Prescott's a good regular season player, but they can't put it together in the playoffs. And clearly, they didn't do anything last year to even get better this season, Ben. They are a joke. I still have aspirations, excuse me, for them to make it to the playoffs, sneak in with a wild card. I do think the Eagles are going to win the division. I'm not panicking like everybody else with the Eagles. They're 2-1. I think their head coach is a head case, but I digress. Dallas's problems are legit. I'm not going to run away from that. They can't tackle. Both of their lines are struggling. You take CeeDee Lamb out of the game and force a bunch of Fergusons, Tolberts, the back half of Brandon Cooks to win you games. It's not going to work. You can't run the ball. There's one thing the Dallas Cowboys need to do, and I think that they should do. I'll bring it up a little bit after, or might not right now might be a good point to bring it up, but I'm going to leave it to Ben because I've been doing a lot of talking. But Ben, I am sick and tired of this team letting me down season after season. I'm not doing it this year. My goal is 9-8, 10-7. I've never strayed from that. Find a way to get it in the playoffs and maybe prove me wrong. But when you get in the playoffs week 1, I don't want to hear anybody in the chat or any of my friends, oh, he's rooting against Dallas. He's not a fan. I'm rooting against them because I'm done with my heart breaking, and I'm done. Like, I just need to be right about something.
Yeah, he's stressed. Josh is stressed right now. He's feeling it, but I can't blame him because that defense it's the biggest issue. Josh is right. Jameson's Dak's the problem. Jameson's right about some of it. Yeah, that's the part he's right about. They just did overpay for him. They overpaid both those positions. Like I said, I mean, I was guys saying maybe let CD walk. Just saying that's another one. Shout out Tony Pollard, Tennessee. There we go, hostage. Book that one in there. But I think Jameson's right in that regard that they just overpaid for those guys, and they're losing. Some of those key guys. I mean, Dan Quinn took half of that defense over the Commanders. We're seeing how well it's working for them over there. Maybe Dan Quinn was a little more important part than people thought in the Cowboys. I mean, that defense just looks like a shell of itself. Josh did mention, Diggs, one of the best players coming off the ACL injury, so you're going to have to give him a little time. But, Micah Parsons just yelling at people on the sidelines. I don't know who he's yelling at. He's trying to get everyone motivated. He's not playing well. He's getting beat every time, too. And, the Ravens just ran wild on him. The Ravens just, I know it's Derrick Henry and everything, and, he's the king, and he's, one of the best to ever do it for a reason, but it just looked way too easy. They just got whatever they wanted, and you got to give Dak. Dak brought that team back, and sort of the issue was, and sort of the solution was not throwing a CD. You saw Cooks get a touchdown. You saw Turbin. If I got that name right on there, you just saw these other guys. You saw everyone except CD, and CD's getting upset on the sideline saying, throw me the ball, but they were getting closer. They were so close. If Dak just doesn't, obviously, hey, listen, I'm no quarterback. Dak got to have that pressure, that 2-point conversion. But if Dak just doesn't overthrow him, that's a one-possession game right there, and they get that stop. That could have totally changed that game, and just obviously, a couple other things. Maybe they shouldn't have been so aggressive, early on. Maybe they should have just taken some of the points while they could have. But they were in it, and Dak got them back into it by hitting everybody, much like we were talking about Josh Allen. Not just hitting Diggs, and not just hitting CD. He got everyone involved. That was a good point from Hostage Curtis on that. Pollard, you're missing Pollard a little. Pollard, he had a couple good games in Tennessee, and I think you're missing all these guys you thought you could just easily replace. And Jerry Jones, as you mentioned, Josh, it's just the front office is looking like they missed on all this. And Jerry Jones is in charge of all this. He tells everybody he's the GM. He runs this whole show, so he's got to take the blame for all this. So I think don't totally worry for the Cowboys fans. That division, I'm not totally sold on the Eagles. Everyone knows I'm sold on the Commanders. That's my team. That's my team over there. So Commanders look great, but this division's not over by any means. Cowboys still in it. They gotta get right this Thursday night, Josh. There's a huge Thursday night one, and the Giants could have been 2-1. If Malik Neighbors just catches that 4th and 3 against the Commanders, Giants are looking at 2-1 right now, Josh. So big game for the Cowboys. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, I Ben hit on everything. It's and that's the thing. Like with the way the Dallas Cowboys are, like in getting down in those situations, I respect Dak Prescott for not throwing temper tantrums and slamming and getting into it, and like Micah and those guys, like just looking at the defense, like this is a quote. It's super corny, but James says it all the time. I couldn't agree anymore. In the NFL, in any part of football, you shouldn't be able to look at the team and tell what the score is. And I could look at the Dallas Cowboys, and this is what every top media person is saying now. When they get hit in the mouth, they don't know how to respond. They did respond a little bit, but it was just a little too late. Shout out JoJo, but the Foxborough native, if you know what I'm talking about, thank you. But aside from that, it was just a little too late. Dak misses that 2-point conversion, and that misses. Trayvon Diggs, they had a big third down. He makes, it was a bang play. Tried to get there. Who was it? I believe it was Zay Flowers. Tip of the cap to him. He makes a good play that essentially ends the game. Then Lamar Jackson's run at the end. It's just never going to abandon the ship. Never hostage. That never happens. But
Never.
Commanders would beat the Cowboys 6-3-10. I love the trolls coming in here. This is my next point. I do want to say the one quick thing. I'm sorry. Quick thing about the CeeDee Lamb thing, Ben, too. Like, I get it. Be upset. Like, Des Bryant was very, very passionate with Tony Romo and those guys. And, like, he would flail his arms. I get it. You want the ball, but you're begging for the ball when you're in double coverage. You also fumbled in the red zone in a pivotal moment earlier in the game. So as much as we want to blame Dak, he didn't turn the ball over. Yes, he had a couple bad throws, but CeeDee Lamb did drop a couple balls and had a pivotal fumble in the red zone. So that's where it kind of weighs to me. If you're telling your quarterback, hey, get me the ball, just throw the ball. Don't worry about it. That's one thing. But if you're saying you're demanding, like, give me the effing ball after you just fumbled in the red zone, I have a problem with that. Aside from that, Ben, I know everybody's coming in the chat. They're talking about, I do think that they need to address the running game, these guys are all gone, Ben. They're all gone. McCarthy's gone next year. Zimmer's gone next year. It's might as well get a little interesting. Like Jameson said, the worst part is they're half in, they're half out. They should be able to compete in the NFC. And I'm going to tell you this right now. This is going to be the most ludicrous thing I've said on this show. Ben's going to be like, what the hell is he talking about? But there's one thing the Dallas Cowboys should do, and I'm not going to take the whole time of the show talking about them. We got to get to our picks and recap some other stuff. But there's a guy sitting out there. You just played them. You beat them. He played in your locker room. You have the money to go get him. And his name is Amari Cooper. The Browns are done. They're going to be done. They're a rental player. I say, Jerry Jones, you pick up that damn phone and you try to do something. You have to get someone else in here. Like you said, Ben, and you said this all off season, they didn't address anything. If anything, they got worse from last year. So at some point, you got to do something. You got to give Dak some help. You're paying him $66 million. I get it. It's not 66. It's $60 million a year with whatever the guaranteed money is. You're trapped now with quarterbacks in the National Football League. That's how it is. I don't know if he can win you a championship, but bring some other guys around him, because the Tolberts, these guys you're thinking you're going to hit on, they're not working out. But then, I don't know. The world's fallen a little bit. It's not rebuild, but it's kind of a disaster because you didn't address anything. You said you're going to be all in. You didn't go all in. Go get Amari Cooper. Go get somebody. Go do what you did in 2019. You flipped your season around. You gave up a first-round pick, which was pretty ballsy. I'm not saying to do that, but weigh the pros and the cons and figure your defense out. Start making some tackles, man.
Yeah, that's the biggest part, Josh. That defense, just not good. It's not good enough. It's not going to be able to compete with anybody. And like I said, they thought they were going to be able to easily replace these guys, and it's not looking like that. The Cowboys got a lot of needs. That's a great one. I wasn't expecting to go Amari Cooper. Wasn't expecting to go Cooper on that one. That's a good call. I mean, the Browns are just. I mean, losing to the Giants at home. That's a tough pill to swallow. And Deshaun Watson is just not looking good right over there. See, that's the Cowboys right over there. That's the Cowboys, but
he hates it. He doesn't like Dallas.
He doesn't like that one. I like it, James.
He's not a Dallas guy.
I mean, I think that's a good move for the Cowboys. They got to figure out something. They got to get him some. Yeah, trade the farm for Nick Chubb, but not that they might as well. Listen, whatever farm they got left, but the Cowboys they need to do something, Josh. They need to figure out something. Like you said, on both lines, on both sides of the field, both lines, defensive line, offensive line, not working out. They got a lot, so it's kind of tough to nitpick right now. But my pick's looking good for the Commanders, Josh. My pick for that division. I just wanted to bring it back to that one. I told everybody watch out for them. So Commanders are looking good. First place, hey, first place. I'll take that. I'll take that for the Commanders. Eagles are going to scare me. I mean, Saquon's getting into it right now, so the Eagles are looking a little dangerous. But Hurts, I don't know. Like I said in the previous episode, Hurts and Sirianni, there's something off with that relationship. So that's something to look out. During the season 4 with the Eagles, Sirianni and Hurts is not on the same page, and it's starting to affect Hurts' play a little. So hey, Dallas Goddard, shout out to Chi. Nice little fantasy game from Goddard, but ultimately, for the Cowboys' sake, I'll give it back to the Cowboys' sake. It's not looking good. Not looking good, and my prediction might be coming true, Josh. I don't know. Last place.
And the Commanders won. Ben's killing it on all cylinders here. We've got.
Division. I might have got that division right, Josh.
He might have. It's early. We'll see. Cowboys, Giants this week. We'll get to a couple of those games a little later. But you look at the NFL right now. I'm going to pull this up, Ben, here, because we're not quite ready yet to get to some of our predictions for next week. But we talked a lot about the Cowboys. Let's hang around in the NFC. Like, Ben, I'm still hanging on this division right here. The NFC North is, I mean, the Bears with Caleb Williams can't figure that whole thing out. Number 1 pick. This guy's demanding. Came from USC. This guy was generational. He's demanding all these demands. He's got all this stuff around him. They're 1-2 right now. A lot of that division, Ben, aside from the Lions, has been battling adversity. And it seems like the Bears, and I'll give a little bit of slack to Caleb Williams, but the Bears are kind of, I don't know. Like, is Caleb Williams much better than what Justin Fields was? Am I overreacting? Is the world overreacting? You look at the NFC South. Panthers win a game with Andy Dalton. What the hell? I'm going to throw a lot at the wall here, Ben. You can kind of pick whatever sticks. But Falcons, they dropped that game. I mean, they're 1-2. I think they'll kind of figure it out. That's a huge one. Tampa Bay Bucks and Saints. Falcons, I think that's going to – my bold prediction, Ben, I think it's going to be Saints, Buccaneers kind of determining that division. Then you've got the Seahawks on fire. 49ers will come back to life. Cardinals, weird, wonky 1-2 team. Watch out for. Ben, this is my problem with Dallas, but this is what I was saying earlier. Now you take Dallas out of the equation. The NFC is kind of wide open. I mean, 49ers look like they got the Super Bowl hangover / the injury bug. Your Commanders are looking 2-1. I mean, the Eagles, although everybody seems there's problems, I think that they're going to find their way in there. I think the Commanders are a little young, but I don't know, Ben. This is a weird start to the NFL season. I threw a lot at you, but I don't know who's coming out of that NFC.
It's confusing, Josh. I mean, especially like I said, East is probably going to be a Commanders Eagles matchup. I'm looking at that one, and Curtis is right with that one. I think it's just the front office for the Bears. I don't know. Maybe it's just sort of the cursed luck with the Browns, where they just can't seem to get out of their own ways. They get all this talent that they still can't put it together. But I'm just, much like with AR-15, I'll give Caleb Williams some time. We got to give him some time to just get used to the NFL game. We did throw for over 300 yards in that Colts game, 2 touchdowns, but he did have 2 picks. So
fair.
You're going to see some of those rookie mistakes and all that. So you got to give him a little time. But as you sort of said in the beginning of that, Josh, this team had high expectations already. So they were demanding a lot. They were looking, to be one of the top people in the North. They were looking to contend with the Lions. And at the time, the Packers. But both, hey, we got to give credit to the Packers and Vikings for those quarterback injury, battling through those ones. I mean, Sam Darnold, Jeff's MVP bet's not looking too bad right now with Sam Darnold. He's just slinging it. That's crazy. No, I can't believe what they're doing over there. But and another team too. I mean, they got rid of Danielle. I mean, we were talking about getting rid of Diggs, and sort of letting the team aspect flourish over there. They got rid of Danielle Hunter and brought in four guys: Van Ginkel, three other guys that sort of just were the same amount of salary cap hit as Danielle Hunter would have been, and that defense hasn't missed a step. So they get rid of one guy, bring in sort of four guys to sort of replace him, same amount of money, and they don't miss a beat. So it's a great front office move from them. And the Vikings, you gotta give them all the props, and the Packers too. Malik Willis, where's this guy coming from? Malik Willis, nice little revenge game against the tight ends. They're just awful. Just wanted to bring that one up. Tennessee is just god awful. Patriots fans will like this. They got to be worse than the Patriots. I'd love to see that game, but they just, I mean, Will Levis, what are you doing? Every single game, he's just awful. And then we had the pick and, against the Bears, and then the fumble against the Jets, and now we just look just gross against the Packers. Nothing good came from him in that one. Tennessee's just in shambles, but that North is interesting, Josh. That's just a crapshoot. We got to see when Love comes back healthy. Can the Bears pick it up? The Lions are just, the Lions seem to be getting back on track, but I don't know. The Vikings are right up there. The Vikings have just been taking down anybody, competing with everybody, so that one's a little tougher. Who would have thought, too? I mean, that South, Josh. This past week, who would have thought the only NFC South team to win would have been the Panthers? So, shout out to Ray on that one, the Panthers.
This is directly to you, so I didn't bring it back there. They did.
No, it's all right. No, hey, listen, I know Josh will do that too. That's what all the Cowboys fans. Hey, that's what we all do to a degree. Yes, yeah, exactly. That's a good point too. That's a good point. Everyone wants to see the Cowboys fans get life, and then have it taken from them, get that hope taken from them. So, yeah, let's have them go on a little win streak. Maybe they'll beat up on the Giants. Hopefully, we get Josh's spirits up a little higher for maybe a playoff letdown. But we're just kidding with Josh. No, but the NFC South, that's a tough one. I don't know. It's just, I mean, the Bucs just got dismantled by the Broncos. Yeah, oh my God, yeah, people forgot. I mean, Bo Nix was looking great on that one. I wasn't expecting Denver to come out there looking that good in Tampa. So I'm probably going to give that division to Zach. I'm going to give that division to the Saints. I think the Saints, that was a tough game against the Eagles. Yeah, Zach's going to be excited. He's going to head down to NOLA, celebrate with them, Mardi Gras style. I think they got that division. That defense is great. Derek Carr's look great over there. Kamara is looking like his old self. Olave's getting into his sort of rhythm with Derek Carr. Rashid Shaheed, even though he had 0 fantasy points, he's still around. He's still a target over there. I just had to shout. I had to give him a little shout out for that one. For 0 points. But no, I think the Saints got that one, and the West, Josh, that's a good one. I mean, I forgot the Seahawks were undefeated, to be honest, until you brought that up. No, I actually remembered a couple days ago when they brought another graphic of that up. I didn't realize they were the only undefeated team. San Fran hit with the injury bugs, Josh, so can't really give him an honest assessment right now. The Cardinals, Marvin Harrison and Kyler Murray looking exciting, and the Rams, I mean, they were battered and bruised, and they just had a huge comeback on the 49ers, so that's a crapshoot. I don't know about that one. I got to see when everyone's healthy over there, because it's going to be an interesting one to unfold and see what's going on, but I'm still going to stick with the Niners, Josh. I think you got to stick with the Niners until proven otherwise over there, so I'll stick with them. Well, I'll be wrong about that one, too.
I mean, I would do the same, Ben. I mean,
yeah, play it safe.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. Like, you look at the NFC West Seahawks. I mean, they look good, man. They're
not bad.
I think hot take. I think they are a little more legit than the Steelers.
Oh.
I think their offense is good. Geno's kind of killing it. But at the same time, I agree with Ben in the fact, even if they win the division, it doesn't matter. I think the Niners are going to figure themselves out. They're going to get Kittle back. They're going to get Debo back. They're going to get McCaffrey back. They are, Nick Bosa is going to come along. I know he's been kind of banged up. They've got a couple guys on the defense. I can't name everybody specifically, but they're going to figure it out. They're going to get back. The Rams, I mean, they're going to be too depleted in a tough division to even get back into that. I agree with you with the Saints, and it's so tough for me, but like it's super early. But I would say again, like the two teams I think are probably going to do it are the 49ers or the Chiefs. And if I didn't say the 49ers, I don't know, Ben. Like I can't. I think I agree with you. I think not enough credit is being, thrown the Packers' way. I think they need a little bit more, especially, Malik Willis looked great. Revenge game you talked about there, beating up on the Titans. They're making ends meet without Jordan Love, who looked really good last year. He ascended. I know he didn't look the greatest against the Eagles, but that's a week one game. I'm not throwing too much stock into that. I think they'll find a way to kind of come back into it. The Lions as well too. It's completely wide open aside from the Chiefs, Ben.
Yeah, no, it's pretty wide open right over there. And seen some of the comments too. Those pretty good acoustics at the homeless shelter, and I like that halfway house. Like the comment too. It's a pretty
That's
good
pretty
one. Hey,
good.
hey, what's wrong with the little halfway house action over there? And Jameson's not too far off with that picture, so with that comment. But no, I think once the 49ers get healthy, yeah. So I mean, exactly this as James said, these guys just no one's been going to camp. You're starting to
Solid
see.
point.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see this less. One less preseason game. People not going to camp. It sucks to practice. Listen, I don't like practicing either. Nobody does, but you got to practice, and you got to be able to just get hit. You got to get your body ready for the NFL season. This is the most taxing sport, most physically demanding sport. And these guys, if you lose a preseason game, and that was, I mean, the fourth game was, when stars would play the most. You get probably like a quarter of action in there, and you're losing some of these games. And like I said, no one's going to camp anymore. You're not really trying. So you see some of these injuries pop up more and more these seasons. So it's not a coincidence that's happening, but I think the 49ers are going to get healthy. They're going to get back on track. Debo's not good. Debo's only out for a couple of weeks. McCaffrey's in Germany trying to figure it out. McCaffrey's doing everything he can to get back on the field. So I'm going to trust San Francisco's talent. Seattle's an interesting team. I don't know if I agree with Josh that they're better than the Steelers at the moment. I gotta put up a little fight with that, but
That's fair.
DK's look great. Yeah, DK's look great. Gino's still out there doing his thing. So I mean, he hasn't dropped off yet. So yeah, I like that one for hostage. But ultimately, yeah, that would be nice. I'd like a second bye week for these guys
Definitely.
just to get some more rest. And I don't want to see the backups the whole time. I don't want to see backups. I want to see the stars in there. I want to see the real talent. And we gotta get these guys some rest. We're killing these guys. We just keep adding games and less and rest. It's just not gonna work out. It's eventually they're gonna have to meet at a compromise and sort of help these players out. So hopefully we figure out a little good middle ground for that, and we just go from there. So hopefully they listen to us.
Couldn't agree anymore, Ben. Couldn't agree anymore. It's that time now. We're talking some recap. Let's get to some picks. All this talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We've talked about them enough on the podcast. On the road against the Giants. This is the pick me up game. This is on the road. I know you got Malik Neighbors on the Giants on the other side, but this is Dallas's to win. I'm going to say 27-17 because I think the Dallas defense is 10-point win, should be enough. You should be able to keep them contained. Neighbors gets a touchdown, okay, maybe or two, all right, whatever. Maybe Singletary gets one because the rush defense is so bad, but this is a winnable game. I know I'm not saying Dallas is going to come back and take the division, but I mean, show a little heart, show a little dignity. I say Dallas gets the win. Dak Prescott and those boys. Hopefully, CeeDee Lamb comes back to life. I know the Giants have a somewhat underrated secondary and a somewhat underrated defense that could get to our line. Kevon Thibodeau. I'm pretty sure they have Brian Burns over there too as well. Could be wrong on that, but yeah, I mean, I think they make the Cowboys, as Jameson's saying, got to make the playoffs. Hostage, hammer that Giants money line. I think opposite. I think Dallas should get the win, even though it's on the road. Say 27-17. I want to see more out of this defense and a little more out of this offense early. Jump out the gates early if you're the offense and defense, to be honest. Dallas wins.
Yeah, I got Dallas winning. I was telling Josh too before the show, my locks haven't been too good. Last week's lock was the Browns. I've got a whole row on our Facebook picture. I got a whole row wrong. The Saints, Bucks, Titans, and Browns I predicted last week. So take my picks with discretion. I haven't been too hot right now, Josh. So, but I'm gonna take the Cowboys too. This is easy, get right game. But like I said, just watch out for this one, Cowboys. This could be a trap game in New York. Giants, they just put, like I said, they could be 2-1. If Malik Neighbors, that's my guy. I'm not calling him out, but if he catches that 4th and 3 against the Commanders, that game's over. That game's over. They can just run out the clock and go from there. You've got the game right over there. They got it in your hands. They just dropped it, so he gave Daniels a chance to get over there. So could be totally different, but I'm going to take the Cowboys.
It's funny to me. He's going Cowboys there. Both going Cowboys. Now we're switching. Steelers, Colts. This is your team. You take the floor.
Yeah, I can't do
1
it
o'clock
2 weeks
game.
in a row. I can't do it 2 weeks in a row, Josh. I gotta take him over the Colts. We've already talked about Anthony Richardson's struggles and all that. Colts are just kind of in a tough spot right now. Not a tough spot as the Jags are, but they're in the middle ground over there. They're still trying to find an identity. Still just trying to figure out what that offense really is over there, and that defense just can't be out there forever. I think Steelers going to take advantage of that. Going to be 4-0, Josh. Let's go. Everyone's going to be chanting Steelers. Everyone's going to be excited. We're going to keep bringing that energy for everybody. I know they love the energy I'm bringing. So I got the Steelers. Nice. It's going to be close in the first half, but I think ultimately easy win. TJ Watt gets another sack. And let's go. And hey, Herbert played most of that game. I know everyone's saying Herbert didn't play that game. Herbert played up until the third quarter, halfway through that third. He was there. I'm still gonna call that a good win for us, even though Easton Stick was in there at the end.
I gotta agree with Ben. This is another win, although I'm not sold on the Steelers. Anthony Richardson is just it's growing pains for the Colts. I know that they kind of eked out. I'm pretty sure they eked out the win last week. They're not going to win this week. That division is Houston's to take. I like the Steelers. I think this is a bad matchup, even though it's in the dome. That don't matter. The Steelers that defense is going to show up to play no matter what. I think we're going to see a little bit of more flashes of George Pickens this week, a little bit more of the running game, a little bit more offense than we've seen in, the first 3 weeks. It's been a lot of low scoring games for the Steelers. I think that they'll kind of tune it up a little. I'm thinking maybe 24, 27 points. I don't trust the Colts. I think this is a bad matchup. I think the Steelers historically have done a pretty good job taking out your running game. I think that they can negate Jonathan Taylor pretty well. And I think that the Steelers are going to win this game pretty easily, Ben. I'm going to say 24-10. Maybe Jonathan Taylor sneaks it in. They get like a crunch time thing. But I think the Steelers have been in a lot of close games, Ben. That's not to their fault. I think the Colts too as well. But I look at the Colts, look at the Steelers. I think the Steelers are just a lot better. And yeah, Ben can get a little excited on that because they're going to be 4-0, top of that division, and could be one of the last remaining 4-0 teams this week. I mean, I know the Buffalo Bills, they've got an interesting test here with the Ravens coming up. That'll be interesting, but I think the Steelers are going to go 4-0. They're going to beat down on this Colts team. I'm sorry, Jeff. Sorry, Jose, but it's just a matter of fact here with the Steelers. They're the better team.
Yeah, I'll take it, Josh. I'll take it. Come on, I want all the praise for us. Like I said, it's going to be a little different second half of the season, but let's get these wins right now and pile them up, Josh.
Moving forward, I'm going to do two birds with one stone. Patriots at the 49ers. I'm going to take this one first, Ben. I was all in on the Pats last week. I thought they were going to beat the Jets, Montante's Jets. He's telling me at the live Sacco show, the Jets are they gonna? I mean, this is he's falling right in that doubt. Montante and I are flipped. He's falling right for that trap. They beat down on the Patriots. No, yeah, that's not happening. But yeah, the Patriots, their offensive line is a disaster right now. Patriots stink again. Guy in the chat, my guy, he's in here every week. Shout out to him. It's true. It's going to be a tough season. I think that this is going to be a beatdown. This is my lock of the week as well. The 49ers are going to roll. They're at home. The red horn's going to be going. It's going to be pretty ugly. I think it's a bad matchup for that offensive line. They're going to have Ayuk. They're going to have Juwan Jennings, who just had a breakaway game last week. He put the NFL on notice. I know that they didn't win that game, but they're pretty angry coming off a bad loss. I think the 49ers are even better than the Jets, despite missing a lot of guys as well. The Patriots, they're just Jacoby Brissett's getting annihilated out there. Drake May's still a little young. He says all the right things. I like Drake May, but I don't think he gets thrown into this game. I would not throw him into this game whatsoever. That's a recipe for disaster. Jacoby Brissett's going to be out there. It's a lock of the week. I'm going to say 27 10, 30-10 maybe. That I'm that confident in the 49ers this weekend.
See, I'm not that confident. I still think they get it done, Josh. I still think the Niners get it done. But it's going to be a little closer than people think. The Niners are pretty banged up over here, so they're a little tough right now. I don't know, just my cat came in here.
Hello, Ben's cat.
There's a cat right over there.
That's good.
The Niners are still a little banged up, but even with being banged up and all that, they're going to get it done against the Pats. Like I said, it's going to be a little closer than people think. Juwan Jennings isn't going to put up 41 fantasy points. He's not going to go get 3 touchdowns or whatever it was, 4 touchdowns. They're going to come back down. They're going to come back down to earth on that one. I think Ayuk's going to get a little more relied on. Shout out to him in fantasy. I think it'll be a little closer, but I think the 49ers get down like 24-17. It's going to be a close game, but yeah, Brissett's just getting killed. We got to figure out a way to help Brissett out, get him some protection, some form of protection. Meowdy over there.
Jakey with the cat. I love it.
Meowdy over there, but yeah, Josh went pretty confident for his lock over there. I'm not that confident. I think the Pats are looking all right. Pats, that wasn't that good of a game against the Jets, but I'm going to go to the previous weeks. I'm going to lean onto some of those performances, the Seahawks performance and the Bengals performance. I think they'll get back to some of those ones against the 49ers. The Jets, the Jets were due for one, Josh. The Jets have just gotten tormented by them for so many years. Rodgers wanted that one, and just crazy. That was his first touchdown to first round wide receiver. Took him this long to finally get one of those to Garrett Wilson. So kudos to him on that one. But yeah, I got the Niners, and I'm not totally sold on the Jets either. Jets, I know everyone's loving the Jets now, but yeah, I'm not totally sold on them. I forgot whose comment. Someone just said the Jets suck in there, but I agree with that one. There we go, Jameis. It's just, I don't know, something I'm not fully invested into them yet. Rodgers, that Tennessee game still scared me. I still think Rodgers still needs a little time to get back into the swing of things, so I'm not totally sold on the Jets, Josh, but give me the Niners.
Both taking Niners here. We're going to move forward. I said my lock of the week. Ben, back to you again for your lock of the week before we get to our upsets.
Yeah, just as I prefaced this before, my lock of the week last week, my locks have been pretty off. Like I said, I had the Browns last week. I think I was wrong again in week 2, so everyone just maybe want to go against this lock of the week, but I'm thinking the Eagles. Eagles over the Bucs. I don't know what happened to the Bucs last weekend. They just looked awful against the Broncos, and that kind of showed kind of their true form.
It's funny.
Ben's backwards. Yeah, that's. I don't know how we remember that one. That's kind of a good pull from Jameson. Kind of a random video to remember, but wow, great pick. Wow, all right, thank you, Jameson. It's weird getting compliments from him. I don't really like that. I don't really like the compliments, but I'll take it. I'll take it right there. The Bucs just kind of proved to me that they're not as legit as everyone thought, and the Eagles grinding out that win against the Saints just proven to me they can do it in all facets of the game. They can grind out tough, defensive earned wins like that, and they can, get in a couple shootouts. When that team's a little healthy. I mean, A.J. Brown and Devontae. A.J. Brown was already out, but Devontae got out of that game with a concussion, so he didn't really have all of his weapons, but they can be in shootouts like that and still win those games. So I like what I'm seeing from the Eagles. I think they just take care of business against the Bucs, and Baker's not as good as everyone thinking. He's still great. Still good, excuse me. Still good. He's still good. I said great, but he's still good, but he's not as great as everyone thought.
There's a little bit of that because he was on the Brown. That's fair. I can, okay. I'm bringing that up. Is that got something to do with it?
No. Listen. Hey, I didn't know this from Jameis, and Bucs are missing 4 of the front 7. Okay, wow. Jameson's backing me up on that one. Wow, that should be good. That should be good on that one. But yeah, maybe I do have a little resentment against Baker, Josh. Maybe deep down.
Hold on. Jameson, are you an Eagles fan? Is that what this is?
Yeah, I don't really know
Didn't
what
get an
the. Yeah,
early
maybe that's
loss
why he
though.
hates
Don't
Dallas
want the
so much.
pressure. Yeah, maybe that's why
It's,
he's down on Dallas. And so okay, we're
there we
connecting the
go.
dots here. But yeah, we're gonna switch things over as we always do. Ben wraps up your show every
Did you give
week. We're
your
getting
upset?
towards the end here. No, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm
Oh,
gonna do
okay,
right
okay,
now.
my fault.
No, you're good. My upset's gonna
I
come
got low.
here. Yeah, I'm gonna give the upset. Also, want to say, thank you to everybody for tuning in. Sacco was great. My Dallas Cowboys got to turn it around, Ben. It's they got to turn it around. Got to get a win, convincing one on Thursday Night Football. Even if they do, we're not Super Bowl or bust. It should be that. The expectation is that, but that's not what's going to happen realistically. But aside from that, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in as well. I'll turn it over to Ben as I always do after this upset pick. But aside from that, I'm going to stick within the division. And I'm going to actually take Ben's Commanders. I think they get the job done on the road. They showed me enough yesterday, Ben. They beat down on Joe Burrow. It was just, I know they let up a lot of points, but hey, that game was in Cincinnati. They looked prepared, Ben. Jaden Daniels is slowly figuring it out with that receiving core. As Ben mentioned before the show to me, he might have even mentioned this on the show. Great rushing fantasy quarterback. He's been running around a lot, getting Austin Eckler involved, Brian Robinson getting a touchdown himself. They spread the ball out pretty well, getting McLaurin back. I don't know. I mean, they look decent. I still think Dallas should finish better than them, but that's a whoa moment. I know. I'm taking the Commanders over the Cardinals. I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, and Commanders over Cardinals, and hopefully Dallas get this win on Thursday. If not, it's going to be a big, big disaster come next Tuesday. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and I'm going to turn it over to Ben as I always do.
Appreciate it, Josh. And thank you for everyone tuning in, as always, giving us those comments. Shout out Jameson and all these new guys. Glad to have you aboard. Keep making fun of us. That's what we appreciate over here. That's what this show's all about. So appreciate that from these guys. And I can't say go Birds because I'm a Steelers fan, but go Birds against the Cowboys. I'm going to keep that. I like that upset from Josh. I'm going to get a little basic this week. I'm going to go 2 weeks in a row. I didn't realize it, but I took the Vikings last week as an upset. I'm going with them again against the Packers 2 weeks in a row. Let's go Vikings. Skull. Whatever they say. Who cares about that? Just go get me a win over there. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Agree. I'll echo that one, Chris. I'll echo that one. But Steelers going to be 4-0, Josh.